Hello and welcome to the Dolls and Donuts podcast, episode 23. In today's episode, we're going to tell you all about what's going on in the animal rights community, what's been happening in Robin's Vegan Dollhouse, and we'll have an interview with Isabelle, who rescues hens. That'll be fun.
I met Isabelle for the first time at Kimmy's house, and she was having a party, and she was playing a game called Two Truths and a Lie. Are you familiar with this game?
Yeah.
It's the first time I've ever played this game. No idea how to play it. Also, I am the worst liar you will ever meet in your life.
I don't have a good poker face either, I'll have to admit.
Oh my gosh. So hard. This game is so hard for me. So you're supposed to write down 2 things about yourself, and then make up a thing about yourself, and then you put them in a hat, and then someone takes them. Kimmy was the one who would take them and read them out loud, and everyone in the room had to guess
who it was and if it was the truth of it.
So everyone knows this game but me, apparently. It was a very difficult game because they're all people that I didn't know.
Especially if you make the true thing the false thing so likely to be true.
Yeah.
And you could change one detail and it's not true. So it'd be, you know what I mean? You could be really...
Oh, yeah.
You can make it not fun. You know what I mean? You'd be like, oh, my birthday's January. Something that totally or I've been to a country, someone that they know, you've been, Ireland. I've been to Ireland X amount of times, but it's one less or one more that I've actually been there.
Yeah.
Because it's not true. But people will be like, oh, well, I know she goes to Ireland a lot.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to pick that one. That could get...
That's mean. That
was what's the fun in that?
No fun at all.
Anyway, that person probably ha ha ha, it's not true. That's the one trip off. Anyway.
So I don't remember what Isabelle's 2 truths and lie were, but one of them that was true was that she had rescued some insane amount of hens on this one day. I guess it's her world record or something for how many she's rescued.
That'll be fun.
And that's how I learned that she rescues hens.
All right, you get these interviews really interesting ways. You need to play games with more people. So I just wanted to give a shout out to Sarah, who commented on our last episode on our YouTube channel, and she just said Team Darcy. So sometimes if we have something really funny that we just talk about in between segments or something, a tangent, we will stick it in the end of the episode, at the very end, after the end credits, you should say. So there was a rant about me fantasizing about what shirt did Mr. Darcy last time. So Sarah, I listened to the end, and she's Team Darcy, so I'm glad about that. I didn't know she was Team Darcy. So.
I wonder how many people listen to
We're out there. We just have to, find each other, So I just wanted to give a shout out to Sarah because I liked that comment.
Okay, and now it's time for Ask Ashley.
That's me.
So what's up with the animals?
So all good news today. No crying, no sadness today.
Woo!
So the first story is, the headline is UK animal experiments fall by 5% annually. So this is an annual figure. So, obviously this is in the UK, but in 2016 their animal experiments fell by 5%. And that might not seem like a lot, but it has been steadily growing by crazy amounts the last 5 years. So it's been going up steady by huge amounts. And this is the first year that it's actually started to go down.
Nice.
So that's a big deal.
And is that just experiments that are happening in that country?
In the UK.
Or businesses that are based there?
I'm assuming that it's all animal experimentation.
Okay.
I'm assuming. It says 51 of the total figure was accounted by experiments, and 49 was related to breeding of genetically modified animals for research. So those go hand in hand because they're breeding the animals for the research.
What?
That makes me think it's just all of it together.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
I guess so. And it says that a lot of the Humane Society International says in the UK that it's been they've been breeding out of control amounts of animals for research. So this is the first time. It says between 2007 and 2016, the number of procedures increased by 23%, and mostly the breeding of genetically modified animals was responsible for the increase. So 23% in those years, and this is the first year that it's went down. It says of the 2.02 million procedures completed in 2016, the majority involved mice, fish, rats, and then birds coming down before that. And they also break it down. So if you're interested in like the like percentages and what they consider like severe, mild experiments, so like cruelty-wise, I'm assuming, this is all broken down really clearly in this article. So if you're interested, I won't go through that all, but if you're interested, check this article out because they really break it down. So statistic I thought was interesting though was that the procedures involving specifically protected species such as horses, dogs, cats, and non-human primates accounted for 0.9% of the procedures in 2016. So like domesticated, quoting, animals, things that we could perceive as pets or friends or whatever, or close to us. So like the non-human primates, they're a very small percentage of the experiments going on. So it's like, it's mostly just, mice, fish, rats, and birds that are like just all of these experiments being done on them. So the other species that I just said, they do have some level of protection on them, in the UK at least. So,
is it wrong that I want to donate the mice in my garage to this
yes.
place?
You have to ask. So it goes on to say that Dr. Penny Hawkins, who's the head of the research animals team at RSPCA, said that the significant year-on-year increases in animal procedures after 2000 seems to have ended. The overall number is now fluctuating around 4 million. So it seems, while 5% doesn't seem like a lot, it's at least leveled off. And there's a slight decrease, but it has leveled off. And they want to make sure that they don't want to allow this level of animal use to become normalized, because the suffering and pain the animals go through should not be normalized. So they don't even want it to just say, well, this is how many has been happening. We want to just keep it at this. Of course, we don't want it to go up, but they want it to be decreased. They obviously just don't want it to stay the same and become, like she said, normalized. And they also are pushing, she says, much more critical assessment of the value of various animal models of disease and faster development of adoption of humane non-animal alternatives. So, finding ways to do these experiments on models, like computer models of how an animal's genes or whatever they're testing may react. Or even better, like human models, because that's really what they're ultimately trying to figure out. If it's human, you know what I mean? So they're trying to push that whole idea so that hopefully this will be obsolete at some point. Probably not in our lifetime, but at some point that animal testing will just not need to be done, period, because the technology will be so advanced. So that's good. I wasn't aware of before I read this, the just absolute, since 2001, just the shooting up of, in the last, 16 years of animal experiments in the UK, because I always think of it so archaic, and here you kind of think it's probably going down, right? It's going down, technology is getting better, so it surprised me that there's such an increase over there.
I'd be curious to see what it is here.
Yeah, maybe we'll Google that before we're done, but probably not. But anyway, so the next story is more local to us, but very interesting idea. So startup Le Cupboard is rolling out vegan vending machines all around San Francisco. Have you heard of this?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So the vending machines will offer plant-based snacks and entrees and will soon be popping up in public places. They are called mobile cupboards. That's what the company is branding them as. And they feature the company's own proprietary grain, which has no sugar. So if you get anything with a grain, it's sugar-free. And it says, unlike a traditional vending machine, the options aren't shown as in a transparent case. So you can see, in a normal vending machine, you can see all the options in the actual little claws and stuff. Mm-hmm. You can see it being dropped and all that.
They aren't they're more like mealy things.
Yeah.
Like meals, not like a bag of chips.
No, they do have snacks, but they also have entrees too. But since they aren't shown in a transparent case, customers have to give a little information to get their option. So they said that the goal is to feel satisfied from a mental perspective, that you feel you had a nutritionist and chef working for you. So you're talking to somebody and telling them your needs, and then they give you the food that meets those needs. Instead of just being like, 4A, beep, and then it comes out, whatever, right. You know what I mean? So it said that there are currently in about 10 locations in San Francisco. I tried to find the actual locations, and I couldn't find them on their website. So I'm not sure where they actually are.
They haven't rolled out yet.
Well, it says that they have. It says that there's 10 currently in San Francisco.
Yeah, I don't think that's true.
Well, yeah, it wasn't on their website.
Or, I mean, maybe that was, like, the goal, but I feel like they got delayed.
Have
you been to the plate, the actual place?
No.
Like their brick and mortar?
No, I didn't even know they had a brick and mortar. It says that the mobile hovers are stationed mainly in offices and partner locations, so they will probably be putting them in more public places.
So we can't even see them, probably.
Well, it's confusing the way they worded it, because they were like partner locations. So like there's like where they carry their stuff is like yoga studios and stuff. So I feel like some of them are maybe in those places, but it doesn't actually say on their website, because they do break those out, like partners, or like our stuff is located at these partnerships. Like some of them are like yoga studios, like I said, and then it says whatever they're calling them, the mobile covers. It says like coming soon, but it seems like they probably put some in those locations already, but they're not really publicizing it yet.
Right.
Like there's like a soft open or something.
Probably.
More than a soft.
Maybe to just beta test.
System. So they're supposed to be out there, but they're not really putting the locations out there. And this is kind of like you happen upon one, you can use it. But hopefully they when they do expand, they make sure that they get the information out there where they're located.
Yeah, so here are my thoughts on this, because I did a lot of research about it when I first found out.
Okay.
So one thing is, it seems like this company's kind of been trying to find their niche for a while, because it's the same company, so they do have brick and mortar in Noe Valley, I'm pretty sure, and then they're the same company. Did you ever go to the place that was on, not like on El Camino, but kind of like off El Camino, sort of by our work, and it was inside of an Equinox gym?
No.
And it was like a vegan restaurant. Not the best. It was like one of my only bad Yelp reviews that I've left, but like they had like a good idea, right? They wanted to like make this raw restaurant.
That's probably why I never went to it. It was raw.
Yeah, it was all. I'm pretty sure it was all raw, if not all, like almost all. But it wasn't delicious. It wasn't like Cafe Gratitude, where at least it was like kind of delicious and raw. It was like raw, but like 20
how
years
somebody
ago raw.
That doesn't eat raw would be like, ew, raw. And how they would expect it to taste, which is not a good thing.
Yeah, or someone who just didn't have any training in how to make food, I guess. But, so I know that they were doing that for a while before that place closed. And I don't know if there's still something there.
Yeah, I don't know.
And so that was one of, I guess I was a little hesitant when I learned who was behind it.
Mm-hmm.
And then my next thought was, I hope it's more like Itza, where it's like, because Itza, I feel like, gives you the impression that it's all like machines doing it, but it's actual humans doing it, which is really disappointing. Have you gone to Itza?
No, I've only seen you on Instagram going.
So it's actually not like robots making your food, but it could be. I mean, you like...
The perception is that it is.
Yeah, the perception is that it is.
Right.
But it's actual people doing it, which I don't like at all. Because
fun.
I feel like there's less room for error if it's actual computers doing it. So I'm hoping that it can take like the best parts of Itza and not take the things that I didn't like about that company's former endeavors and come up with something good. But did you see the menu items?
I mean, I saw it was on their website, and it looked okay. I mean,
but
I
like
wouldn't go
not
out of my
something
way.
Yeah,
super healthy.
I mean. If you were
and
like
I
really
wouldn't go
hungry,
to San Francisco. Yeah, I would eat it. I would never go to San Francisco to try it.
Oh no, definitely not.
And even if I was there, I'm like, well, there's other stuff I can have. But for the people that are more healthily eating inclined, I'm not that bad, but it could be good, I guess. I just like that it's like out there, and it's like the option is out there, and it's a vending machine, so it's like really convenient. So I like that, all those things about it. And they do give out other containers that they serve the food in, that the machine serves to you, is glass. And then you just bring it back and like you get your they basically pay a deposit, like you do like bottles and stuff, if they're big enough, or then you bring back and you can get the money back when you return the glassware. So they have the app, and so you can like preload all of any restrictions you have, such as a nut allergy, or you want to control your blood sugar or whatever. So when you can put those all into the app and order stuff on the app, that way it's, you just go probably put in like a code in or something, and it just gives you your food right away. Mm-hmm. And then of course you just pass by and you can use it. So they do give you, I like that. That's kind of a cool option. But I think this could be interesting. I mean, it might totally flop, but I think it's a cool concept to try.
I didn't know they had their own grain that they invented.
Apparently, yeah.
I
hope it was one of the other things they tried.
Interesting.
We'll see.
Oh gosh, it could be bad. I hope it's not bad because then it's going to make people think that vegan food is bad, which I don't like. But
yeah, I know.
But I do like the convenience part of it. And when I first got back from Japan, I was like, we need to have vegan vending machines all over.
Yeah, so maybe this
like
could start something. You know what I mean? Even if they. I hope it is good, you know, and it works well. But even if it doesn't, like this might be like a, you know, like the forerunner for something to come after that maybe works out the kinks or whatever. So anyway, it's good. So I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
So if I saw one, I would definitely like poke around at it and see what it was like.
I mean, I would just want to play with it because it's a new shiny thing.
Yeah. Yeah. And I would never. And I definitely would like if you give me a glass container and I had to pay for it or would put a deposit or whatever, I would never be bringing it back. I would have to keep it because I wouldn't be like. Go back to like you'd have to be in your neighborhood or something to get the deposit back. I feel like
or you just really want your deposit. I'm like one of those people.
I wouldn't drive to San Francisco to get 5 cents or 10 cents.
It would be like $2 really.
That you'd spend more in gas getting there. So,
but you go to San Francisco all the time.
Not San Francisco.
Not very often.
I go to the East Bay all the time. So, but whatever. If it's in your, I like the fact that you can. It's served in glass and you can bring it back and get your deposit and stuff. So there's some good concepts going on there. We'll see how it goes though.
Yeah. I would play with it. I'd play with the toy once. Oh, have you seen the one that's like a cupcake vending machine that's in...
From Sprinkles?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Where is it? In LA?
I've seen...
New York?
I mean, they have the vending machines around. The one that I've actually seen in person is in Vegas.
Oh, okay. Did they have any vegan ones?
They didn't have the vegan one in there.
Okay.
You had to go inside for it. Because I would have liked to like just get it from there, but they didn't have the vegan one in there. So I just kind of looked at it and then went inside and got a vegan cupcake. So I know. So our last story is at happycow.net, which if you're vegan or vegetarian, you're probably very familiar with. If not, you should check it out because it actually is quite helpful in when you're traveling a lot or it just basically catalogs vegetarian, vegan friendly restaurants and stores. So anyway, they released the top 10 vegan cities in the world and some of them are pretty surprising. So we're just going to give our thoughts on the list. So I'm going to start at 10. San Francisco Bay Area is number 10.
It's not so surprising.
I think it should be a little bit higher than this. Some of these places I'm like, what?
Oh, are they? Do you think that they're in order by...
I mean, we had a big like hubbub about this last time. It was PETA's list, I think, last time we went over this, but I was not. I mean, this is more... Some of them I'm like, what? I can't believe this is in the top 5. But I think we should be higher than 10, I think.
Well, let's pretend that they did the list backwards and that 10 is number 1. And
right, okay, that's fine. I mean, because we do have a lot. I mean, people here are like, oh my god, like LA and Portland have so much more. But like, if you come from like where I come from in Ohio, now we actually have a few vegan restaurants. But growing up, it was 0. And not that I was vegan, but they didn't have anything. So like, I look at here and there's just so much and it's so plentiful from my perspective, right? People that grew up here, they're like, oh yeah, whatever, everyone else is so much better with the vegan food. And, I know how good I have it here for people that live like in the middle of the country and like in the Midwest. So I think because of that, we should have been higher than 10. But anyway, we're 10. Number 9 is Portland, which is usually way higher on lists. Mm-hmm. It's usually number 1 or number 2, especially if it's in the U.S. If it's the U.S., it's number 1 or number 2. L.A. and Portland will like beat each other up.
Yeah.
And then usually 3 is like New York or something. Mm-hmm. They'll like duke it, like New York LA and Portland will duke it out on different lists for the first and second spot. So this is a 9. I was pretty surprised because Portland does have a ton. 8 is Tel Aviv.
I'd believe that.
And the Middle East, so like Middle East can be pretty vegetarian friendly. I guess, yeah. Like that one kind of surprised me. It makes sense, but I'm surprised that it made a top 10 list.
Maybe, yeah.
I'm not surprised that it's super friendly.
From the perspective of who's writing the list, maybe they're kind of like compared to what you would expect, or compared to other cities in this area,
maybe.
Or
yeah. So that one was pretty interesting, and then 7's London, which London has a lot of good stuff. Mm-hmm. That one, I think, is about appropriately placed.
You would put it at number 7?
I would put it a little bit higher, but I think in the middle, it's where it belongs. Yeah. For now.
Where it belongs.
Sit in the middle where you belong.
Come on, London. Get up to number 1.
So number 6 was Singapore.
Oh.
Which is interesting because a lot of these, like, Asian food, when you're actually here, different, obviously, the Americanized version. But, like, over in Asia, like, they love to add, like, fish sauce to everything. Even if something looks vegetarian, it looks vegan, the sauce. Like, they like to add fish this and meat, like, broth this, like, in everything, it seems. So this was surprising to me. There's two. There's another Asian city on here. Singapore was surprising.
I've only heard of Veganburg being in Singapore. I haven't heard of any other vegan places.
Maybe they have starting a whole, like, movement over there in Singapore. But I was surprised. I'm sure there's a couple vegan restaurants, like, regardless. Like, I wouldn't be surprised by that. But just overall being, like, over us, Portland, London, I'm like, there must be a scene there. You know what I mean? That I'm not familiar with. So I thought that one was interesting. 5 is New York City, which is usually higher on these lists. I haven't been back to New York as a vegan, but I know, of course, of all there's tons of stuff there, obviously. So that one doesn't surprise me. But 4 is Taipei. That was the other Asia country that I was really surprised by.
Yeah, because Taipei has a lot of stuff, like, kind of on the outskirts, but, like, in city center, I didn't see that much.
You were in Taipei?
No, but I was, like, looking it up because I was
gotcha.
giving my wish list to someone who was going.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Interesting.
I saw quite a few, like, cute places on the outskirts, but the stuff that was in the middle, just maybe, like, 2 or 3 places.
Interesting. Okay. Maybe it's, like you said about, like, who's writing this, maybe it's, like, really up and coming. Maybe those places weren't there 2 years ago or a year ago.
Yeah.
So it's, like, woo, like, it's, like, the rate of stuff is, like, really faster than the other cities.
Yes.
Some of the more established, like, vegan cities, if you want to put it that way.
Yeah.
Because it's starting up, it's probably going a lot faster than here or, like, Portland, where, you know, there's tons of options already. So the demand isn't quite as high because we have a lot of stuff. So maybe that's part of why some of these surprising cities are on here. The next one's also surprising. Number 3. Okay, so number 3 on the top 10 vegan cities in the world is Warsaw.
What's that?
Poland. Poland. I mean, that's surprising. Number 3.
How far is Poland from Ireland?
I mean, well, it's still Europe, but it's
they're not like
it's on the other side of Europe.
Oh, okay.
It's on the east side of Europe.
I don't know anything about Poland.
It's on the east side of Europe. So I want to go to Poland, but this is actually kind of good news for me because I would like to go to Poland. And I actually would be concerned about finding food. So this is good. This is good, actually.
Is that the city you were going to go to when you
I haven't really looked. I just know I'd like to go to Auschwitz.
Why?
Because I like history and I'd like to go there. I mean, it wouldn't be a fun experience, but it would be an important historical place that you were not interested in. I think it's very moving and humbling, and I'd like to be there, I think, at some point. So, that's not obviously the only place I would go. So Warsaw, obviously, is the capital. So I would, that's good news.
You could go to Warsaw first, stock up on treats, and then
take everything to Auschwitz.
History. Basically.
So, yeah, Warsaw. Who knew? But good for them. Number 2 is Los Angeles. Not a big surprise there.
Not a surprise, but then I'm wondering what number 1 is.
Do you want to guess? Did you look?
No.
Okay. Then give us a guess.
I have no idea.
There is a big player that hasn't been mentioned.
Oh. Seattle?
No. Good guess, though. It's not in the U.S.
Oh. Berlin.
Yeah.
Okay.
Berlin.
I was like, oh, duh.
I might have given it away with that one. But, yeah, Berlin has a lot of good stuff. So, and it does seem like it's still, like, increasing a lot. So, Berlin. I can take that as number 1. What was I going to say? Oh, well, I'm going back to Hawaii in a couple weeks. And I was, like, re-looking at, like, what if new stuff is opened or whatever. And the Greens and Vines, did you ever have that in Honolulu? It's raw.
Oh, then no. So
I heard rave reviews about their like living lasagna, like their one particular like signature dish, and I was like, okay, let's just go and have one dinner there.
No?
Not for me. It actually made my stomach feel upset. The dessert was very good. Like I said, I can do raw desserts. Like, I like them. But, like, the food, not always so much. And it's closed. It closed in March. I wasn't super sad about it, but I always, like, don't want to see a vegan place close, even if I don't like it. So, but they have opened other ones in its kind of, not in exactly its place, but other ones have sprouted up since the last time I was there, which was only like a year and change ago.
Yeah.
So that's good.
That is really good.
So, you know, these things they ebb and flow. So Honolulu's not even close to being on this list, but for, you know, it's actually has a lot there. But I was just thinking of, like, I think 2 places have maybe opened for the one that we lost. So it just depends, you know, the rate of things opening and closing. So.
Yeah. So, yeah, I wonder what makes you make the list? Do you have to be, like, at a 4 new places a year number, or what?
See, I would just make it, like, way simpler. I would make it less about
Growth.
how fast your growth is, just literally by the numbers. How many all vegan, how many vegetarian, how many vegan friendly, or whatever, and, like, use the numbers.
Yep.
And I think all vegan restaurants would weigh more heavily than vegetarian and veg-friendly restaurants. They would maybe, like, be for 2 worth. They would, like, double. The worth would be double for all vegan restaurant. Right? That's how I would do it if I was making this list.
I could see how Happy Cow would do theirs based on growth, just because since it's sort of Yelpish, they're probably noticing an increase in additions of places and reviews of places.
Yeah, that makes sense. I just feel like the places that are experiencing the growth will get to will get there. They'll get to the list because they're growing.
That's true.
But
if they're not as fast.
And on the other hand, like, just what I said, like, I want to go to Poland, and I never would have thought Warsaw had anything vegan. And so that kind of, like, opens up to me, like, being more open to travel there, probably. You know what I mean? So, interesting.
So it's nice that they do their list differently than we would do it.
Yeah, and we're assuming this is how they do it. We just, like, figure it out there.
We know everything.
This may not be how they do it, but this is how I'm thinking that they do it, so. And it's nice to, like, see, like, because PETA does theirs, obviously Happy Cow does theirs, and a bunch, you know, I feel like every big vegan website does this. And other websites, too.
Algorithm.
So you kind of get a different perspective for each one. So that's why every once in a while I like to do these, because some of these have never been on any of them that we've talked about. So.
Yeah.
And on a light note. So that was it.
I think this might be our first episode we've ever done where all the news stories were happy.
We weren't like, death! Death! Why?
We must have felt like we needed some cheering up this week.
I don't know. I could say something, but then we were a real downer, so I'm just not going to say it. Maybe I'll talk about it next month.
Okay.
I won't do it.
Save it, Debbie Downer. We don't want to hear it.
You're looking at me like you're going to say it, aren't you? You're going to say it. You're
I know.
Freaking say it.
I was kind of.
I won't. It's a downer. I'll talk about it next time. I haven't done much research on it anyway, on the story, so I'll tell you briefly when we're done, and then I'll talk about it next month. Anyway.
Okay.
So what's happening at the dollhouse, Robin?
Well, I've probably gained a lot of weight this past month at the dollhouse.
I hear you.
Because all I've eaten is dessert, basically nonstop. So I did desserts for the bake sale, which you also did desserts for. And I made my first rendition of the Galaxy Brownie Pops.
I didn't get my hands on one of those in time. I wanted to, but I didn't make it.
I didn't get my hands on anything. I didn't taste anything you made.
I definitely got my hands on
I didn't taste anything. I didn't taste anything anyone made. There was, like, no leftovers.
I couldn't even look at it without, I had to. We just put a 20 in the jar, in the donation jar, and was like, open tab, like, we're just eating it. So.
So I did the Galaxy Brownie Pops to make sure that they turned out okay, because I ended up making them for the annual vegan potluck that Rosie coordinates. I made Twinkies, which was a good thing for me to make.
I didn't get my hand on a Twinkie either.
Sorry. I can make them for you.
No, I want you to, but I don't, because I don't eat them all. I'll just shove them and, like, rub them all over my face.
I know.
It's bad.
So the Twinkies, I had created that recipe, like, oh my gosh, I don't even know how long ago, during Vegan Mofo, and I hadn't ever perfected it. So this gave me a chance to perfect the recipe, which is good, because I feel weird having a recipe on my website
that you're not totally comfortable with, or you're not super happy with.
Yeah.
I can get that.
Like, it said it in the first paragraph. It was like, this is not perfect. I was almost like having it up there and telling people not to, which is a little weird. So I was really glad to perfect that. And then Lulu had a birthday party where she did the tea party on the train ride. And she's obsessed with cats. So I made cat cookies that were chocolate. So they look like black cats. They're supposed to look like black cats. They looked a little more like brown cats.
Yeah.
I even used the dark chocolate powder.
On your cat color.
So the kitty cookies, that recipe is on my website, but they're called Devil's Food cookies on my website.
I like devil's food. Ooh. Making me hungry. And we're like halfway through the list. So like screwed.
And for anyone who listened to the episode that was 2 months ago, was it 2 episodes ago?
Yeah.
We did an interview with Samantha from Pig Out Vegan Foods, and she had her 1-year anniversary of her business this past month, and it was a brunch that I went to. And she made so much stuff. There was like 15 things. But the highlights were the apple fritters, which were super good, like Ronald's good.
I'd be into that.
And these bacon cheddar scones, where she used the bacon from Butcher's Son.
Less into that, but I'd still eat it.
Really?
Oh yeah, I'd still eat it, but
okay.
I'd definitely be more apple fritter person.
The apple fritter was very, very good. Even her gluten-free things she made did not taste gluten-free at all.
That's a good sign.
I know. She knows what she's doing. So that was really fun. And then I had vegan dots for my first time.
Finally.
Have you had them already?
No, but I know you've been coveting them for a long time.
I know. And when I got there, and he was like, oh, all the flavors are available except the cotton candy one.
That's
and
one you wanted. Probably because it was the prettiest
it's
one.
It's so cute. It's like pink, and it matched my hair, basically. It was like pink and blue and purple.
And you're like, no. You threw your hands up in the air like, Carson!
I flipped his table.
Yeah.
Money flew everywhere. I was like, oh, but that's the one I want. And he was like, are you serious? Like, he didn't
Why
know I was joking.
Why would you? Why, like, that's some kind of, I don't know. I would be like, oh, it is. I'm sorry. I wouldn't think you were joking. I would just be like, of course, that's my life. Like, the one I want isn't there. After chasing these people around the country almost like forever.
Yeah, so I was like, yes, I came here real far, and I have never had it, and that's the one I want. And he was like, okay, I really do have it. Yeah, it was just all the way in the bottom, and I didn't want to dig it out.
Shame.
I know, right?
Shame.
Yeah.
Game of Thrones reference that you won't get, but shame.
It's okay. Yeah, so he dug it out. And I got to eat them, and they were delicious.
Oh my god. Lazy little...
But you just eat them with they're like little, so you eat them with your tongue.
Yeah, I've had regular Dippin' Dots, like when I was a kid, because they had them at Cedar Point.
Oh, okay. I never had them because my dad didn't let me have junk food when I was a kid.
I wish I got a little limited on the junk food. I wouldn't have hurt to have been told no once in a while. You know what I mean? So...
Yeah. So
they
those
worth
were really
the wait?
Good. Yeah, worth the wait. Cool. They were really good, and they're constantly doing events and stuff like that.
Yeah, I see on their Instagram. They're always like, "We're gonna be here. We're gonna be there."
Yeah, so everywhere. It's good.
Except
but I went
in my face, which I would like.
Except for in my kitchen, where they belong.
Yeah.
The place I went was called Highland Park Farmers Market. So if anyone's in the LA area, that's where you can go. They're there every week, I guess. But I feel like they go around enough.
They do.
They'll hit everyone's city. And he actually said he was going to come and do our Veg Fest next year. He said,
if it
he said he would do all their stupid things that
he probably didn't have enough time to figure out all the red
exactly.
tape. So if he's expecting it, then it might be work out better next time.
Yeah, totally. And he said, out of all the places that he's gone, that he's never been asked for any of that stuff, so he thought it was super weird. But he said he was going to do it because...
At least he has a heads up.
The fans have spoken, and they want it.
Yeah, they have. The cotton candy-haired fans have spoken.
So it was definitely the highlight of my month. And then also the buffalo cauliflower pizza at Sage was super good. Highly recommend that.
I've been to Sage, but I haven't had that.
Because it's new.
And I don't dislike cauliflower, but I will pick other things over it any day.
Yeah,
I'm not a
even
huge
when it's
cauliflower.
covered in the buffalo sauce?
Yeah,
Okay.
I would rather have something else.
Oh, okay. Because I feel like
Matt likes cauliflower.
cauliflower is
though.
kind of like tofu, where it just sucks up the flavor of everything around it, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Or is it the
I won't be like,
consistency?
ew, I hate cauliflower, but I'll always choose something else over cauliflower. But if it's like the only thing that's there, I'll eat it and it'll be fine.
Yeah.
So I would never, if I was going out to like to a restaurant, I wouldn't get cauliflower.
Yeah.
Anything.
I mean, if it had been buffalo chicken, I would have been fine with that too.
Yeah.
But, you know. I had my first rainbow latte in life at Voyager, which I heard about Voyager from you and Matt.
Yeah, it's right walking distance from our apartment.
Yeah. So it's in Santa Clara?
Yeah, it's in Santa Clara.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for anybody in the area, you should definitely go to Voyager and get coffee, and you can request a rainbow latte
I've seen it on their Instagram.
with almond milk, and they will make it for you.
Pretty.
It's beautiful.
I've never gotten anything from there, believe it or not. Matt is always the one getting stuff, but
I
if
believe
I do end up getting something from there, it will be rainbow.
Yeah,
the rainbow variety.
Yeah, what if they make you... Would you get like a vanilla almond milk? Like a warm vanilla almond milk? I know you don't like coffee.
Well, I will do lattes once in a great while.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Like, if I go to Blue Bottle, I'll get a latte.
Okay.
If I go to Intelligentsia, I'll get a latte.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, if I'm in the mood, I'll get one there. And it will be rainbow.
Okay, good.
For sure.
Good to know.
I just
I'm
haven't.
expecting pictures if that happens.
Oh, yeah. I mean, come on.
And then the only other thing I made was yesterday or the day before, which was I wanted to make quesadillas, but then David was like, but I'm on a taco diet and I have to eat tacos every meal.
How does he survive?
I know.
It's a hard...
Yeah.
He must have, like, some real, like, willpower to only eat tacos. Wish I had his determination.
It's a rough life.
Yeah, it's a rough life.
I mean, he doesn't exercise, so he feels like he just has to just eat tacos. It's just like a trade-off.
Yeah. Different strokes for different folks, I guess.
So, in order to appease everyone...
Through their dietary restrictions.
Their dietary restrictions.
I'm allergic to everything that's not a taco, so if you can make this work, it'd be great.
The taco shell was a quesadilla.
Mm-hmm. That's not bad.
Everyone got what they wanted. Not bad.
I love Mexican food, no matter what form it takes. Everything from like really good like Mexican restaurants, or like at home, or even to Taco Bell. I'm going. So I love Mexican food. So
All right.
I'd be into that.
All right. So what's been going on in your kitchen?
So not much, but I did make some things for the bake sale that was very successful. Oh, you didn't talk about the you missed one.
What did I miss?
The cookie and the cookie.
Oh, the Inception cookies.
Because I was going to say, I had that. I got that one of those, and I was like, whoa, twitching. It was so good.
Were you able to eat the whole thing?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, of
Oh,
course.
that's impressive. You never cease to amaze me with your ability to eat.
I don't know. Like, and I went to Happiness Cafe, like, Sunday, and had my whole banana split to myself again.
Yeah, you're good.
Like, I just do it. I do it in a batch, and then I'm good all week, and then I have my, like, treat. And I go all out for my treat.
That's the thing that always amazes me, that you don't eat
you think that my stomach is just like, woo, 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 woo.
Yeah.
I'm really healthy during the week, and on the weekend, I eat healthy on the weekend too, but I have my treat on the weekend.
Yeah.
And it's usually, a treat. You know,
but
it's not a little
bigger.
like, oh, a little square of dark chocolate. No.
Yeah, I don't know how your stomach can handle it.
It's fine.
I know.
It seems to be happy.
It's your superpower, I think.
Anyway, that was super good. It was what's the brand name?
Oh, Numino. It was a Numino inside
in the chocolate chip cookie.
Of a chocolate chip cookie.
Oh,
Yeah.
it was so good. So I did have one of those. But what I made for it was I made chocolate brownies. Second attempt, they came out great. I was surprised because when people were like, "Oh, I have a chocolate brownie," I was like, "Eat," because like I said, I put 20 in the donation jar, so I was eating some of them. They were like really good.
What did you do with the first batch? The test batch?
It was the liners. So I followed the recipe, and it said, "Oh, grease the pan and all of that," because they made them in a cupcake pan, so they came out nice little shapes, and they were like, cuter than just cutting them into squares. And it made them all more even and everything. So it said, grease everything up so they pop out. Or you know what? You can just use liners.
Nice.
And I was like, okay, well, why not? Like, it would be a cute little wrapper. Like, it says I can use them.
Do you remember who this was?
It was the Minimalist Baker, I believe.
Did you comment? I hate her recipes.
I love her recipes.
I hate them.
I love everything on them.
Everything I've ever made from her has turned out a disaster.
Oh my god, that's so funny.
I know.
Because there's like dinners, like I've made some of her desserts. I've made like at least 3 of her dinners I have all the time. I love them. So it's really interesting.
Did you comment and say, please take that part off?
No, I didn't. I wonder, I haven't even looked through the comments. I don't know. Anyway, I was like, oh, okay, they'll look cuter. They look like brownie cupcakes, you know what I mean? Like, in theory, that look, sure, and have less mess, and I won't worry about them sticking. Great. Made them, stick them in there, cooked them, everything, great. And I tested one. I ate one while it was still warm, so it came out pretty fine. It was sticking a little bit, but not enough for me to worry.
Right.
And then when I let them cool, and I was like, checked on them, I was like, they seem really hard, but like, it was a brownie. It was okay. Right. But I kind of was going to get worried. Like somebody was going to try to like eat it and break their teeth off. I was just like being paranoid. So I'm like, I'm going to try one more.
Mm-hmm.
And
For the team.
I'm taking it for the team.
I don't want
one.
And
I tried to take the wrapper off and it was like cemented.
Yeah.
Cemented to the brownie.
Yeah.
Once I like cut off the paper with a knife, I couldn't even peel it off. Like forget it. The brownie was like not that hard. It was good. It was like nice where it like broke. And then it was soft in the middle. Like, it was fine. But the paper was the issue, which I'm glad I tried another one because otherwise people would have been like, they would have got home and been like, what the hell? What am I supposed to do with this? So I just made the recipe again, and I made it without the liners. They came out fine. They popped out. No sticking, no issue, and they turned out really well. I just funny because some lady was like, oh, I'll take a brownie. I was like, oh, I'm eating one right now. I made them. I can't believe how good they are. She's like, well, that's good to know if you see the chef eating their own food. I was like, I'm just like so proud of myself that I made these because I really liked them. So I'll be making those again for sure. My other contribution, not so much. So you know what? This one was from the Minimalist Baker. They might have. I'm not gonna like throw the Minimalist Baker under the bus because I already
threw them under. Okay. They're already under there.
Okay. Well, I will partially remove them. I'll like remove like their head and like torso out, and you can leave the bottom. But I love her recipes, and I think I've done some of her desserts too. I'm sorry, I can't remember which one came from which. I think may have both been from her. But anyway, the second one I attempted was double peanut butter and chocolate chip cookies. Okay. So these had like oatmeal, the binding agent was some like a half a banana, you know. They looked okay, and they were a little like, you know, I wanted to do something simple with the brownies, and so I tried them and they tasted fine. They were a little ugly.
They were very ugly.
They were ugly, but whatever. They were ugly. And so I just drizzled some chocolate on them. That made them look a little bit better, but they were still ugly. And so I made them just, you know, as they were ordered or instructed. I was instructed to, and the banana was like, there's peanut butter in them, chocolate chips. You couldn't taste the chocolate chip or the peanut butter. It was just banana.
Yep.
And it didn't taste bad, but that's not what you expected, right? So I put I melted the chocolate on top, and that helped a little bit, and it did give it a little bit of chocolate. So it was like chocolatey banana.
Chocolate and banana taste so good together.
Yeah, I mean, it was okay. It just was not what it was supposed to be. Like, if she had put, like, chocolate, banana, oatmeal cookies, that's what they were. Yeah. You know, maybe double the amount of chocolate chips, because like, without putting it on top, you couldn't really taste the chocolate chips. So that was disappointing. And like I said, they were ugly, but they were like a healthy cookie. So if you were like into it, I feel like Kimmy would really be into them. I mean, they weren't bad. They tasted good.
And if you would have used gluten-free oats, they would have been gluten-free, basically, right? Did they have flour in them too, or no?
No, it was just oatmeal.
Yeah. So it would
like,
have been,
you know, oats. Yeah, it was like rolled oats and something other.
Did they
actually
sell
maybe
out?
I used. No, we didn't have a lot left though.
Okay,
we only had a
good.
few left.
The bake sale did really well.
Four or something left. So they were good. I wouldn't make them again. I didn't enjoy them enough to spend the time on them again. But if I knew someone liked those flavors or, you know, whatever, I would make them again for somebody. Like they didn't taste bad. They just were like way not what I expected. Yeah. And they were not as pretty as I would have liked.
Well, the reason they had to put the banana in is because they didn't use flour.
Well, there was something else. There was.
Because you don't
flax
need...
meal? No. Maybe was it flax meal that was in it?
See, so it didn't need
there
banana
was something in there. I just followed the directions, okay? I just followed the directions like they told me, and that's what happened. I did my best to like.
I mean,
try
it
to
happens to me still when I follow recipes of a.
I'm definitely not there
somebody
where I
that
can be like, oh, I'll just sub this and take that out because I don't think that's gonna work. No. I follow directions.
Well,
I'm not there yet.
Well, I would have looked at that recipe and been like, hell no.
No.
Like oats, no flour, banana, fuck no.
No, I'm not there yet. I'm not at that place. You've had a lot more time to like, you know, you just see it and you know it's not for you or it's not going to work or whatever. I'm not there. So anyway, people bought them and they liked them. Yeah. I mean, people ate some and they were like, these are good. And I'm like, okay. They were fine. But anyway, brownies were definitely the highlight for me that I made instead of the other ones.
Do you remember one of our customers said she had been vegan for 20 years and that was her first vegan bake sale she had ever been to? Mm-hmm. That was so impressive.
Yeah. We started off on a good foot.
Yeah, we did.
Because ours was good. Yeah, it was very popular. I was like jealous of everybody buying her stuff. I'm like, just leave it. So there's like a ton of stuff left to take it home. And I was pretty lucky. Like I didn't really I took, all my brownies were gone. I took a few of like my cookies home. And I ended up giving them to my coworker that donated stuff. I was like, here, we had some leftover cookies, like thanks and stuff. And I gave her a little thank you card and stuff. So I didn't keep them in the house. I was like, here, thank you, eat these. But I didn't take any other desserts or anything home, which I was happy about and sad about at the same time. So, cause I had my fill while we were selling stuff.
Were you the emoji with just the straight mouth?
Yeah, I have a straight mouth emoji. So
yeah, I mean, I definitely wanted stuff left over. Also.
Everything looked really good, for sure.
Yeah,
people were like very impressed by it. I think when they were just wandered into the backyard looking for an old bowling ball or something, and they got it's like the table looked so cute and everything looked so good. So
yeah, it was a good fundraiser.
Yeah, it was good. So.
Hi, so we're here with Isabelle. Thank you so much for being with us.
You're welcome.
Isabelle is the founder of a nonprofit called Chlorophyll, which I hope you'll tell us a little bit more about since I already don't know anything about it. And our listeners definitely probably don't know. And also, we want to thank Kimmy for connecting us. Mm-hmm. And Kimmy is one of our favorite friends of the pod. So... thank you again, and can you start by telling us a little bit about Chlorophyll?
Yes.
Okay.
So Chlorophyll is a little nonprofit I founded last year, and I mainly do pet chicken care classes. So I do education. I educate people that want to have chickens in their backyard, how to take care of their chickens. I also promote hen adoption, and I think we're going to talk about that a bit later. Mm-hmm. At the same time, I have a little tiny micro sanctuary in my backyard where I have a few chickens that we've rescued from the egg industry.
Nice. So is micro sanctuary a term that is in the industry, or is it just something that you kind of named your cute little farm here?
I like it.
I like it too.
There is a little, it's a little bit of both. So I just like the name, but there is also a micro sanctuary movement. Okay. Where people that have some space in their backyard save some farmed animal. And that could be, 3 chickens, a goat, a pig. It's more, because sanctuaries are a big entity, it needs a lot of money, it needs a lot of work, staff, and not everybody can do that, but everybody wants to do something for the animals. So if you have some space in your backyard, that's what you can do, a micro sanctuary. And it's like if you want a distributed sanctuary, where using everybody's backyard.
I love this idea.
You literally took the words out of my mouth. I was going to say, I love this idea, because I've always wanted to do something like that. I mean, now it's not an option at all, because I'm in an apartment. But that's a good little middle ground, because you always think, I want to have a sanctuary, and it has to be this huge thing, but...
It could just be...
So start small with what you have, with your own money, with what, you don't need to buy a big ranch.
Yeah.
So it's a dream of mine, but...
Well, luckily you still can.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have a number of questions now. Mm-hmm. Would I just be able to do that if I was a homeowner, or do you have to get permission from the city?
Okay, so to keep animals, like any animals, including dogs and cats, every city has different rules. So you need to check with your municipal code and see how many animals and what type of animals you can get. So here, I'm in Los Altos. Mm-hmm. I can have 1 chicken per 1,000 square feet of my property.
How close are you to reaching your max for the area?
So here I could have 20 chickens. So I still have, some space.
Nice.
Of course, you would need, the appropriate coop and housing for them and everything. Mm-hmm. It would be too small. So every city is different. I mean, really, in the county, every Cupertino, for example, cannot have chickens at all.
In where?
Cupertino is one city that cannot. Sunnyvale is about 3-4. You know, it really depends. Los Altos Hills, then you can even have roosters. Because that's the other thing. Roosters are not welcome in many cities.
Okay, so when you're using the term hens and roosters and chickens, can you tell our listeners and us what the difference is?
So chicken is really the species, or what you find, you know, in the meat section of, you know, the store. But the female is called a hen. The male is called a rooster. The little babies are called chicks. And then you have, when the female is young but not laying yet, she's called a poulette. So that
Poulette?
Poulette, P-U-L-L-E-T.
That's very cute. Poulette.
That's cute.
Do you
That
guys
could be you. Ashley's a poulette.
So so chicken is really the general term.
Okay. Have you ever had chicks in your area, or do you only rescue them once they're grown up?
So when we rescue them, because we rescue them from the egg industry, they are usually 1.5 to 2 years old already. So they're already, you know, hens.
Okay.
They're fully laying.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And so when you when you first get them, are any of them possibly still going to be laying eggs, or do you
Laying eggs, yes, absolutely. So the hen we rescue, so I'm partnering with Animal Place, actually I'm a volunteer with Animal Place when we go rescuing those hens. The reason why the farmer want to depopulate them, which is a nice term to basically gas them and throw them to the landfill, they're about 1.5 to 2 years old, and this is when they consider the hen spent. So she was laying 300 eggs a year, and her production is dropping to maybe 250, 200 eggs a year, and does not make any more economical sense for the farmer, which is still crazy, you know.
That's so ridiculous.
So this is why I'm, adopting them out. So if we rescue them and find place in backyards, you know, even for people eating eggs, you know, they offer them a place to, you know, end their natural life, and they can enjoy their eggs because they still have, you know, they still lay a lot. Mine, of course, you know, are, you know, just enjoying their own eggs themselves, you know.
They're what?
So all the eggs that I'm getting from my hens, or I give them back to them.
Yeah.
You know, I don't
I've
eat
heard
their
that.
eggs.
But what do you mean you give them back? What
They-
Well,
eat
to eat.
They eat?
As food.
Yeah.
It's full of protein, full of calcium.
I mean, humans eat their placenta,
Well,
so
exactly.
I guess it's the same.
Yeah.
It's
I've heard of
not
this before. That's
appetizing
why
to me.
I'm not as shocked as you are.
Yeah.
Most rescue sanctuary would do that.
Would give them
It's
back.
full of, you know,
Yeah.
good things.
Right, interesting. Did you learn most of the knowledge that you acquired in order to open Chlorophyll from volunteering at Animal Place, or did you come to Animal Place with a knowledge even prior to that?
So I knew a little bit because I had chickens before.
Oh, you have, okay.
But I learned so much more by starting volunteering, because when you take care of, I mean, each rescue is between 2,000 hens, so there is a lot of hens to take care of.
Yeah.
So you learn immensely.
And so are you also administering all the medical care yourself as well?
Yes.
Wow.
So this is one of the things I learn a lot, and I have a huge mentor. I mean, the rescue ranch manager at Animal Place. I go there for every hen rescue and stay on site for 4 or 5 days, and she teach me what to do, and then I do it, and
Right.
that's what I learn, where I learn the most.
So as part of your education that you do at Chlorophyll, is some of it also teaching backyard or micro sanctuary people how to administer medical care as well?
To do the basic care, yes. You cannot do everything. I mean, sometimes you have to go to the vet with your
Right.
chicken, but there's a lot of things you can do yourself. And so yes, that's part of my advanced class. So I have a beginner and advanced class for the chicken care, and the advanced class is I actually show them how to set up a little medical kit and how to address the basic illness or disease that you see in chickens.
And so what are some of the things that you cover in your beginner class?
The beginner class is really for people that want to have chicken, don't know really what's involved. And then we go more about what is the basic, the pros and cons, of having chickens. I mean, it's like having any companion animals, you need to do something when you go on vacation, you need, there's things like that to consider. It costs. It's not, a lot of people say, oh, I want chickens because I want cheap eggs. And that's not the case. I mean, they cost. The coop cost, the food, any medical care, going to the vet is not cheap. So I kind of, talk about that. Then what is the minimum requirement in the housing? The coop,
the one
the
per
chicken
square
coop.
coop. Oh,
The size of the coop, the size of the run, make it predator proof. Then we talk about food. What do you feed your chicken? And then more, the expectation about the maintenance, because you need to clean your coop.
Right.
So this is what I cover in that class, and where to get your chickens. And then that's where I talk about adoption. Don't go and
Slip
buy
that in
it.
there.
Yes, exactly.
Right. That makes sense.
Because a lot of people don't realize that if you buy a little chick, hen chick, that the little male chick is killed. So a lot of people don't realize that. So I'm trying to do some outreach there.
Right. How many of the people that you teach the class to have already gotten a chicken before they came to you and asked for help?
There's a few of them. Yes.
I feel like that could be a mistake that I could make. Yeah. I mean, not probably now because I'm vegan, but before I was vegan, I probably could have made that mistake.
You get excited and carried away. Sometimes people, and then they're like,
Yeah.
Well, and especially around Easter or something, you have all those little chicks, in the hardware store in all the places, and they're cute, and they grow and they need, special care. So
yeah. So you mentioned that prior to volunteering with Animal Place, you had chickens before.
Yes.
I don't know if that was here or somewhere else. Okay.
Yes, it was
and
here.
So what made you, want to adopt those chickens? In the beginning, the very first chicken you ever met, what made you think?
Okay, so the very first chicken I bought actually at that time, it was 2010. So 7 years ago, we just bought the house. We were vegetarian at the time, and it's like, I have space. I can have my own chickens to raise, eggs that are coming from happy, healthy hens that I know how they're treated and all. So that's the reason why we bought 3 chickens at the time. And it's so funny because now when I look back, I had no idea how much it will change my life. Because, now I'm doing all those chicken things all over the place. So it was really, so after work, I would come and be with my chickens and, sit in their coop to relax, after a day of work. And I got to bond with them. I got to see that they are personality, that they're super social animals. That's something we don't always think, but they like to be with you. You just saw when we went in the backyard, right?
Yeah.
They kind of go around us. So they quickly became, from egg layers to companion animals very fast. And when one of them died, it was a terrible, there was a hawk. It just came and killed one of my...
Sorry.
Yeah, and even here in an urban kind of area.
I see them circling around in the Los Altos Hills. Yeah.
Yep. So because of that, I say, okay, now 2 chicken is a bit lonely. So I say I need, to add at least 2 more. And then where it's like, okay, can I adopt? And, I adopted my cat, I adopted my dog.
Oh, right.
It's like, why do I have to go and buy chickens? So Google, chicken adoption, and found Animal Place. That's really how I got in contact with them. And from there on, that a lot of things changed in my life because I learned about more factory farming, all the life of farmed animal, and that's when I started really to be more involved in animal rights at the same time. So chickens kind of, pulled me in that direction.
Yeah, so before when you were just vegetarian, you knew a little bit about factory farming and they were giving them drugs, which is why you wanted to have your own eggs from your own backyard. So you knew a little bit about it before.
I knew a little bit. I knew they didn't have a great life, but it's not something you really want to dig in there.
Oh no, no one wants to know
you
how
know,
sad the
and
world
know
is.
the details. I mean,
Yeah.
so yeah, I knew it was not good.
Yeah,
I didn't know the detail.
right.
And now that I'm fully aware of it, and that I mean, we can talk about, going in a hen, going on a hen rescue and going in one of those farms. I mean, that changes your life even, further.
Do you feel comfortable talking a little bit about one of those experiences?
Sure. I mean, I would be happy to,
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think we'd like to hear about it.
Okay. So I started to know Animal Place through the adoption, right? I wanted to adopt a new hen. I got to know them. I said, okay, that seems really interesting what they do. They do this hen rescue, and I wanted to know more. So I went and helped to the health checks. So after they do an rescue, they have all those hens, and they need to just check the health of those 1,000 hens. So they need tons of volunteers at that time. So I said, okay, one way to get to know a little bit how that works, let's go and volunteer for that.
Right.
So I went there, and that's where we delouse, deworm, because they are full of all those parasites. Cut their nails because they are in cages, so their nails are really like 2 inches long because they never scratch the ground. They're in cages.
Yeah,
so they
that
grow,
makes
and
sense.
it's like this is thing you don't think about.
I would not have thought about it, but you're right. That's like what keeps dogs' nails filed down is the
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I did that, and it's like, wow, this is amazing what they are doing. So I got invited to go in a hen rescue. So with the staff. I mean, usually it's always like 20, 30 people, so staff plus some volunteers. And well, we do that at night. Not because we want to be undercover, because the whole thing is totally legal. There is an agreement between Animal Place and the farmer. The farmer actually called Animal Place and say, we are going to depopulate on that day. You can come a day before if you want to save any.
Oh.
Okay. Huh. So, so
There's a relationship.
There's a relationship. Now we are saving only a little fraction, of course, of all the birds in that farm.
Yeah.
But I mean, there are individuals. So when you save 2,000 individuals,
that's a lot.
That's a lot
Yeah.
when you look at it like that.
Oh, that must be so hard.
So we arrive at the farm. It's dark, and they turn the light in one of the long shed where there is some chickens. And what you see, because these chickens are in cages hanging from the ceiling, it's not touching the soil. So with the light, I mean, the first thing I saw, it was like those little white ghosts, hanging in the air. And that I mean, I don't know. For me, that's the picture I saw. And with that picture is, of course, the smell of ammonia, of chicken poop.
The urine and stuff.
Yeah. Oh. Because they don't clean the barn.
Why? Because it takes
Why would they? Yeah. So the cage is hanging from the ceiling.
I guess, yeah. So they're not. So all the feces is falling on the ground.
So you have honestly, 4 feet of feces. I don't want to describe what's moving in there. But there is a lot of things. So we just go with boots. We have,
Oh my gosh.
a coverall, boots, and even the boots sometimes, it goes over. But and we go in those in those sheds. Oh. And then we have a pile of empty crates that we do put at at the entrance. And then we are a team of 3-4 people. And we start at the beginning of a row. We open those little cages. It's so small. We have to put both our hands, kind of sideways, try to catch a hen, close her wings so she, we can pull her through the little hole, and then put it in the crate. And we have a transport crate where we can put like 10 chickens. When we have 10 chickens in the crate, we bring the crate outside, take a new one, and we do that until we have no more crates.
Right.
Okay. And we do that at night, so because it's cooler, it's also quieter for the chickens, because when it's dark, they actually sleep. So it's less stressful for them. It's also, it's in Central Valley, usually we do that. Central Valley, so it's really hot.
There, yes.
So we like to do that at night also, just for the temperature.
Right, that makes sense.
And the hardest is because you have adrenaline going on when you do that. You work, you take the chickens, put them in the crate, move the crate outside. the hardest was when I went outside to take with a full crate, put it outside, turned on the pile of empty crate to take one, and there was no more empty crate.
Right, and you knew that there were
And then
more chickens.
I turned, and there were so many other chickens left. There were still rows of chickens. And then that's when I realized those were going to be killed, the next day. Mm-hmm. And yeah.
You're like, the hardest part was not wading through waist high in feces. The hardest part
leaving
was
them there.
leaving them there.
Yes.
Like, put my coat in my pockets.
That's so sad. Well, actually, your boobs look bigger than when we got here.
These are natural. Excuse me. They're clucking.
Well, sometimes you try to put 11 in the transport crate, one more.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah. That's hard.
So that's hard. After that, we, all the crates are loaded in vans, we have trailers, and we drive back to the rescue ranch. The rescue ranch in Vacaville, which is about an hour and a half from here. Mm-hmm. And then there they have like a 60-acre ranch, so it's really big. And there are 4 big barns where you can basically put 2,000 chickens across the 4 barns. And that's the best part of the rescue, because you put those crates in the barn and then you open the crates. And you see the chicken for the first time getting out, spreading her wings, scratching the soil.
Are they like confused?
Well, so you have a little bit of awe. I mean, they're again individual, different personality. So some like fly away, jump away. They don't know how to use their wings. It's really funny. I mean, funny to see, because they've never used them. So they bump into everything when they try to use them.
So they're like me, just on a normal day.
Yeah. So some are like very cautious, just putting their head through the crates and like, what's going on? That's not normal. There is too much space. And some, just running out. But all of them eventually, go on the ground and take a dust bath, because they are full of lice. I mean, they've never been able to take a dust bath, so they are full of, things. They've been itching like for 18 months.
Oh,
18 months. So, yeah.
Wow.
But that's, as a rescuer, this is really, really nice to see.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
That's very
Those
rewarding.
experiences that animal is supposed to have, and they have no idea what their life's supposed to be like. Yeah.
Huh. Well, I would like to go, but not for the waiting and poop part. I would like to go for the part where they come back and need their nails clipped. Yeah. Can I be a nail clipper?
So that's the health check, and we do need a lot of people. So absolutely. So Kimi went. I don't know if she told you her experience. She went to the last hen rescue and helped with the second round of health check. So the first round of health check is when we delyse the worm, clip the nails, and basically, check the whole body to see if, everything is fine, there is nothing broken. Or the second, and 2 weeks later, we need to redo a second round, and that's mainly to give another round of deworming. Mm-hmm. And we do another health check, to make sure we didn't miss anything. So yeah, I mean, next rescue, sign up for to do that.
Yeah.
It's fun.
It just seems so rewarding.
Yes.
Yes.
And then you have those ants in your arm, and you can bond a little bit with her.
Yeah.
It's really nice.
So what our listeners probably don't know is that we just went into basically what is like Disneyland for chickens in your backyard. It is the biggest space I've ever seen besides being at a sanctuary for chickens to hang out in. It looks so lovely. Ashley commented that it was nicer than her own living room. And I've been in her living room, so I have to agree. And I think that they seem really friendly. They came right up to, one of them came right up to me while I was doing a video for Instagram story, and I didn't have any food or anything, and just very friendly. And I was wondering if you could tell us a little bit about some of your companion chickens that you have here now, or maybe some that you have had in the past.
Yeah, I mean, each one of them have a different story. But maybe there is 3 I can, we'll talk about it now.
Okay.
So the very first one, she's not here anymore, unfortunately. Her name is Charlie. And she actually was a chicken in a coop in a local community garden.
Oh, okay.
So they had the chicken coops for they use for the eggs, and I'm working in that community garden. And somebody come to me because they know, I care for chickens, and they say, well, can you come and have a look to this chicken? I think she's not doing well. I say, sure. I go and check on her, and she has a huge wound on her side. Like a wound that has not been treated for months. Dead flesh, dead skin. It's really really bad. And I say, have you noticed that? Say, oh no, we don't know. We never pick up our chicken. We never really actually, check on them. We just go feed, get the eggs.
And get your eggs.
And we just saw that this one was not doing good. And so then I say, okay, that's fine. You need to go to the vet. Let's see what it is. And honestly, it's really bad. It may be, that you have to euthanize her. And they say, well, but we don't have money for that. We don't have money to take care of her. It's like,
of course you don't.
Yeah, it's
you had money to bring her into your life.
And I say, okay, what are you going to do? We're going to leave her.
Let her suffer and die.
Yeah.
Essentially.
So it's like, okay, that's my first rescue.
Yeah.
So I took her home. We went to the vet. We tried for about 2 weeks to get her back to health. But the wound, the wound was too deep in her. So we had to euthanize her. Oh, but he's really the chicken that that got me started on the classes. Mm-hmm. On basically telling people that I have chickens that really don't know how to take care of their chickens. Right. You have to get to know them. You have to pick up your chicken. You have to know when she's normal, when she's not. Yeah. You have to figure out all the body parts of a chicken, where they are, and how it's, when it looks normal or not. So that's why, she has a big place in my, in my heart, because, she inspired me, the whole chlorophyll, thing. So that's the story of Charlie.
Oh, thanks, Charlie.
The other one is the crazy one you saw in the backyard, the white leghorn Marjo. And you probably saw the video of her picking.
Yes, oh my gosh, I'm so glad you brought that up. I can't believe I didn't ask about it yet.
So she's the chicken that I taught her to pick out of a deck of cards, the Queen of Hearts. And that was such a fun process. She had as much fun as I am sure. Are you guys familiar with positive training with dogs?
Yes.
Yeah.
Where basically you reward a behavior you want and ignore the one you don't want. Mm-hmm. Well, that's exactly what I've used. So for her, the reward was a mix of corn and sunflower seeds. Okay. That's what she likes. And every time, and that's what I use. So I had a clicker, exactly like for dog, a little cup of scratch. And I brought her the card in front of her nose. And of course, she go for the food and not the card. She does not care. And, I hide the food, give her the card, and eventually she touched the card, and immediately it's like she gets food. It took her 3 times to realize that, oh, okay, I need to touch the card to get the food.
That's pretty good.
Yeah,
3 times. That's.
I'm definitely not trainable easily. No.
I'm not even at that level.
No.
And from there on, it was okay. She understood she had to pick that card, then add black numbers, very different from the Queen of Hearts. No problem, she always went for the Queen of Hearts. Every time reward her. Yes. Then I added red numbers, no problem. Chickens have very good vision, better than us humans.
Okay, so you knew that before you decided
so
on this
she
game.
they can see those little bugs running in your compost pile that you can barely, notice.
Right.
Their color range also, they see UVs, ultraviolets also. So that's why the rooster are so early in the morning. But anyway, so they have a very good vision. So she's very able to recognize the Queen of Hearts from the other cards. Then I started to bring another face, like the King of Club. And then that's when I realized that she thought I wanted her to peck at any face. So this is where I started to say, well, when she pecked at the wrong card, ignore. And she was like, hey, Mom, where's my food? And she go peck the king again. It's like, no, you don't get anything. And then eventually she gets frustrated, go to the Queen of Hearts, and then she get the food. It's like, okay. And from there on, I could add all the cards, and she got it. Then I think it was
she took
really,
her to Vegas.
I did 10 sessions of 5-6 minutes.
Oh, really?
And
so she got trained faster than a dog would have, basically.
Yeah.
That's really
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
Did you know that chickens were able to be trained this easy?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So other people have done
So
it in the past.
actually, I don't know if you heard that there is a dog training school that is using chickens to train the dog trainers to be very accurate and fast in their rewarding. Because chickens are a little bit less tolerant in the area than dogs. Dogs, if you reward them a couple of minutes later, they still, they're still fine. Chickens, like, you lose them if you're not, super precise about your timing. So yeah, I heard about that. I knew it was feasible. And I just wanted to try it myself. And that was fun. That was really
can we link to that video in our show notes?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. If anybody who's listening has time to go to our show notes and click on this video, it is the cutest thing watching this chicken pick the correct card every time. I freaked out when I saw it.
So also, I mean, then the reason why I made this video, available, and it's through a Humane Society of the United States.
Oh,
So
nice.
they were the one that edited the video and published it. Was really to kind of show people. I mean, reach out people and show them that chickens are very smart.
Oh yeah, I would have
And,
never even guessed that was possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, and with having like an organization that big get a hold of it, they have a big reach, so like a lot of people can see it.
Yes.
Instead of just like posting
Yes.
it on your personal YouTube channel,
Exactly.
which is great, but
Exactly.
a lot of people are
Doing
seeing it
justice.
that way.
Exactly. So
smart.
Good strategy.
so she's a little ambassadress, kind of,
Yeah.
going around, and then you
Yeah.
tell, well, she's coming
She's a
from
little-
a battery
she's
cage.
a little
so-
celebrity. Yeah. From the wrong side of the tracks.
Yeah, she really made a good life for herself here, huh?
But which means, that, it's really to get people to realize what they eat, because people eating chickens or the eggs, it's like, well, it's smart animals that they are eating, really. So. Yeah. And the third chicken, I don't know if you have time to hear about
yeah.
So it's this little Curry. Curry, you saw her. She's the one that's blind. And so her story is actually, so she's coming from a pasture-based farm, one of the nicest one in California. And, but her story is not about that. Her story is she picked me. She's the one that decided, to come here. So she was rescued in April this year. And she was at the rescue ranch, and we had 1,000 new chicken we just rescued. And, as volunteer and staff, you just go back and forth to the barns, 7-8 times a day. And one of the staff told me, have you noticed, Isabelle, there is these little chickens following you everywhere you go? And I say, well, not really. I mean, they really kind of look all the same. So I pick her up, look at her. She's missing an eye on one side. She's kind of a little bit blind on the other. She has a very tiny little pupil. But she's always walking with her neck super stretched, listening to you. Oh. And so I didn't thought more about it. I put her back on the ground. And in the afternoon, when we took a rest, we sit in the chicken yard, kind of enjoy the little cows, after a rescue. She came and sat on my lap. Really, I mean, those chickens, I've never really had an interaction with people. So
And
it's
if they had, it's not positive.
No,
so
exactly.
So they want to go sit on someone's lap.
Exactly. So it's wow. So at that time, I say, okay, can we put a little leg band on her so I kind of, differentiate her and know who she is? And every time I was going to that barn, for the 4 days I was there, she was following me.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if it's the French accent or, she knew I was going to, give into our little game of seduction. But the last night that, we put them to bed, we closed the barn and everything, she went on my shoulder, she flew on my shoulder and started pulling my hair and make a little nest.
Oh my
So it's okay, little girl, I need to bring you home.
That's so sweet.
So she totally picked me and
That's
very
so
much in love with her. So that's...
How frequently, I'm not around chickens very often, so this might be a stupid question, but how frequently do you come across chickens during your rescues that are missing an eye?
Oh, when you rescue them from pasture-based, that last rescue, half of them were missing eyes.
Oh, wow.
And not sure about the reason. those are still their full beak. So it could be from, some pecking between each other.
Yeah.
The reason why
They're
they
so
cut...
close.
They're so close together.
Yeah, so it could be that. It's also just because they are outside, exposed to the elements. They get, just a little grain of sand or something in the eye, get an infection, and of course those are organic farms, so no antibiotics, so you can't fix anything. And they're not going to care about individuals, anyway.
Right.
I know people always like to go to the organic farms, and they're like that's only like for you, like the product that comes out of them for you. It's not about the animals at all. It's just about like you just don't have drugs in your eggs.
Right.
People don't understand that difference.
Yeah.
Okay, so can I ask a clueless corner question?
Yeah.
Okay, so is there a difference between organic farms and free range?
It's different. It's different. It's
Okay.
two different things. Organic is more the food they get, or the medicine, or what they ingest. Free range means they are not in cages and they usually have access to the outside.
So you were using the term pasture?
Pasture is kind of free range. They have access to the outside.
Okay.
Does not mean it's like on the picture, like a green field.
Right. It is deceiving. I think it's a deceiving term.
It must be if
It's a marketing
half
term.
of them have an eye missing when you rescue them.
It's a marketing term.
Yeah.
So
And you're rescuing them because just like the factory farms, the pasture farms are also planning on putting them down
That's correct.
when they're
that's
eggs.
correct.
yeah.
Okay, so
It's the same system.
Okay.
It's just different.
Yeah.
Those conditions can vary
Yeah.
some.
So in that case, they just kept the hen a little bit longer. So curry is about 3 years and a half, instead of the 1 year and a half. So they keep them a little bit longer, but still, at some point, they are going to get rid of them because they are not, it doesn't make sense anymore.
So 1.5 and 3.5 is a big difference, but I actually don't know what the complete lifespan of a healthy chicken would be.
So if you go with, heritage breed, that's healthy, happy and everything, about 8 to 10 years.
Oh wow, yeah. So they're still even in
Lots
the
of life left.
yeah,
After
3.5
3.
years is still
Yeah.
a third of their life,
Yeah.
pretty much. Okay, wow,
Yeah.
that's a big difference.
And,
Okay,
so that's the story of my 3,
that is
Charlie,
such
Marjo, and
those are
Harry.
really good
It's
stories.
a different range of people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Personalities.
and for listeners who want to see curry, there's a video on our Instagram that we just posted, so you can see that.
Yeah, that's a little red one. Little red hen.
So we were wondering if there are any myths that people might have about chickens or hens that you could dispel for us.
Okay. Well, the first thing it is they are smarter than you think. A lot of people say they call bird brain. There is this expression. It's really not fair. I think it's more like brainy bird. Brainy birds. They can do some math. They can count up to 6. They do communicate. They have like 30 different vocalization. They can kind of string together to communicate things. So they have a different sound when there is an aerial predator versus a land predator.
Oh.
The rooster is going to have a special call when he finds food for hens, and he's not going to eat it right away. He's going to call them and share with the hens because he wants his status to go high.
It's gonna keep the ladies happy.
Exactly. They actually in that story there is a little story at Animal Place where there was a deceiving rooster, which is deception is already a complex behavior. So this rooster wanted to also have his flock of hens, but he didn't have food. But he saw that when the other nice rooster were doing that, all the hens go to him. So he made the same noise. All the hens come, and then so there was no food. So they remember him, like the traitor. He's not having any food. And if he does that in front, so he would do that only when there is new hens that are being introduced, because after a while, the existing hen, don't trust this
You know
guy.
what your game is, mister.
And if the rooster, that rooster would do that in front of the other rooster, he would get, a lesson. So it's really, really interesting to see their interaction. It's not like just simple, interaction.
Yeah.
They're pretty. The other thing that a lot of people don't know is that the little chick, when still in the egg, is talking. So if you have a chance to have a hen sitting on her egg, just listen. And you will have that communication between the chicken egg to the mom.
Oh my gosh, that's so cute.
And like, I don't know what they say, but maybe like, I'm cold there, move me, but there is some conversation going on.
How funny.
It's,
I've heard that before.
Oh, that's so neat.
And I guess it's also a way for them to bond as soon as they hatch. They know who their mom is, and follow her.
Yeah.
And they, of course, do learn also a lot by looking at each other, observing each other. If one is beating, a bitter leaf or something, the other one are not going to try. It's like, okay, this is not good. So they're pretty smart. Yeah.
He's like, this one next to me in the egg, it's kind of annoying me.
Yeah.
Can you do something about that, please?
This brother, put him on the other side of the nest, please. This brother's annoying me.
Mom! Brother just bumped my egg with his egg. I'm trying to sleep.
Be like, oh god, I wish you guys didn't talk until you're born. The humans have it, they got it good. Maybe don't talk when they come out.
They at least have like a year of freedom. We're awful. Okay, well, I feel enlightened.
Oh yeah, I learned a lot.
I hope the listeners learned some things too, and I want to thank you again for inviting us over to meet your
welcome.
Friends and
You're
for telling
welcome.
us everything. And we'll definitely link to chlorophyll in our show notes. But
Thank
do you
you.
have any social media, or do you want to tell our listeners the URL or anything where they can go and learn more?
So my website is chlorophyll.org, and chlorophyll is spelled the very simplest way you can spell chlorophyll. So it's CLOROFIL.org. So that's my website. I'm also on Facebook. You can, like my page. And I also want to give, if you don't mind, the website of Animal Place, because if your listener want to volunteer, they always need help. When we do a rescue, we always need people. And that's animalplace in one word, .org.
And is that in Vacaville?
So the rescue happened in Vacaville, yes. Their main sanctuary, though, is in Grass Valley. So they need a volunteer there all the time to help cleaning the barns, to socialize with the animal. They have also a lot of events. I don't have their calendar, but one event that's super fun is Thanks the Turkey. So that's around Thanksgiving, where you go there and basically give little pies to the turkeys.
Oh, that's really cute.
And then there is a vegan dinner for all the people that join. So it's really fun.
Nice. And what is the website where people can learn about Animal Place?
So animalplace in one word, .org.
Okay.
.org.
Yeah, we'll put it in the show notes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Vacaville is more the operation center, so where we do the big rescue. And
I was just thinking Vacaville for people in San Francisco is a lot closer.
It's closer, yeah.
The other one is a little far.
You can go in a day from here,
Right.
Yeah, I do a big day trip.
So they still right now, because the last rescue we did was in Independence Day. We rescued 2,000 chickens. So right now there's still 700 of them. So they still need a lot of help, with taking care of them.
Yeah. How frequently do they do the rescues?
It depends how fast we can adopt them out.
Right.
That's
Have
the-
the space available again. Yeah.
So another way, if you have space in your backyard or something, adopt those chickens because they're wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah.
we
Micro sanctuaries for the win, guys.
Yes.
Let's make it happen.
It seems like an obvious idea, but one that didn't occur to me at
Right.
all.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's
Okay.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks. So now it's time for Wag or Whimper. And this is where we talk about something we've tried for the first time and if it made us wag or whimper. And I tried something that was from Miyoko's kitchen, and it's her newest mozzarella that is smoked mozzarella. Have you tried it?
No,
Okay, it's delicious. Do you like smoked cheeses?
I don't really know.
Okay. Have you
haven't-
had any?
I may have.
Okay.
I'm not super cheese snob, so I don't know.
Have you had the Miyoko's farmhouse one?
If somebody bought it and brought it to a party, then I had it, but I don't know for sure.
Okay. Anyway, I really like it. I don't know necessarily that I like it more than her regular mozzarella, but it's been very well received in this house, and so we keep buying it. Also, it's been on sale at Rainbow.
That helps.
That does help. So the smoked mozzarella from Miyoko's Kitchen made me wag.
And we don't have a whimper, which is good because usually little Miss Whimper over here always has a whimper. So we're just going to keep the positive things going today. We're not going to have a whimper. No whimpering.
We don't have any negative things to say
No
today.
negativity around here. We're just a couple of hippies. Happy hippies.
So before we say anything negative, maybe we should wrap up our episode.
Let's just quill we're ahead.
So that's episode 23. If you're listening on YouTube or iTunes and you haven't subscribed, please subscribe and leave us comments. And you can rate us on iTunes, but only if you want to give us 5 stars, because anything less than that would be negative.
Unacceptable. We don't want that. Only
we don't have any negativity here. And Ashley, if people want to find you on the internet, where do they go?
You can find me at The Vegan Adventure. That has all my social media stuff. And I have a new post up.
On
my Washington, D.C. trip.
Oh, nice.
So things I did, which Robin won't be interested in. Well, you did get a shout out, though, in my blog post, so you should check it out and see.
I will check it out.
And all the food that I ate there. Because there was some stuff that I forgot to mention on the podcast. So it's all there. So it's up. And this Thursday, I am, committing myself. Well, by the time this comes up, it will be way past that Thursday.
The institution that's been waiting patiently for her.
Yeah. My LA one will also be up by the time this airs. And that is a promise.
All right.
And if it's not, I'll just cut this out before it goes.
Oh, that is
it
cheating.
Never happened.
And I have to let her because I don't know how to do any of this stuff.
I was at holding the computer really far away from you, and that's about all the power I have. So it will be up. If you're listening to this, it's up.
Great. I probably have some pictures from LA food that I could add to our Dolls and Donuts. If you guys don't already follow us, we're at dolls_donuts on Twitter, and on Instagram we're at dolls and donuts. And
so what about you?
Find
yourself.
Oh, me.
Yeah.
I'm at vegandollhouse.com, and I'm Vegan Dollhouse everywhere else.
Okay. Thanks for listening.
Bye.
Dolls and